Okay, now let's talk about softbox lighting. What is a softbox? How does it look like? How do you get one for your studio, and what are the benefits of using softbox to get better lighting and produce awesome videos? So this is how a softbox looks like. If you've been actively looking for how to light up your studio, you may have come across softboxes. Typically they are rectangle in shape and they have a black, the back part of it is completely black, and then you have the front part which is semi-transparent. Okay, it's a diffuser and light comes out of the front, only the front. So why would you want to use softboxes? Well, in the past, softboxes used to be expensive and only really professional photographers could afford softboxes, and everyone else was using strobe lights or other types of lights. And tungsten lights used to be very popular for film and for photography as well. But nowadays, fluorescent lights have become very cheap. And that makes softboxes a really good option for anybody who's trying to start your own home recording studio or mini studio in your office to do video, to do online courses, etc. And it costs very little. It's also very easy to replace because you can get fluorescent lights almost everywhere. Softboxes provide focused lighting. So with a softbox, you have to choose what is it that you want to light, and then direct the softbox to light only that object, and it does not light any other part except the direction that you focus it on. So if you want to light up your entire room, then softbox is not what you should be looking for, because it's impossible to get it to light your entire room. It's designed in such a way that all the light, all the bulbs inside the softbox reflects off all the surfaces and heads right in front through the diffuser and focuses only on a very limited area. But that being said, softboxes are very popular also because it's easy to configure. And by easy to configure, I mean that if you have 3 softboxes, you can easily place them anywhere you want to get the optimal lighting condition. You can use it as a fill light, you can use it as a backlight, you can use it as a hair light with the correct stand and equipment. And also it's easy for you to control the amount of light that comes out through the softboxes, because basically what's inside the softbox is just a few fluorescent lights. It could be 3, 4, 5, whatever. So just take up some lights if you don't want too much of lighting. If you need more, just put in more bulbs into your softbox. And of course, because it's a fluorescent light, it's easy to replace. As I said, you can get fluorescent lights almost anywhere. And if you're looking for specific fluorescent lights only for photography or for video, you can also get it at almost any kind of camera or camera accessories shop. Now let's talk about choosing a softbox. How do you see there's so many softboxes out there, but which one actually do you need? Okay, so if you're trying to record video, then you'll want to get daylight bulbs. Okay, daylight bulbs are 5500K or kelvins. So, well, I'm not going to go too much into the technical part. I'm not a professional studio guy or audio guy, but this is what I had to learn in order for me to set up the studio, is that if you want to look the best in your videos, you have to try to emulate natural sunlight. And to emulate natural sunlight, you have to get the right sunlight temperature. Now, of course, sunlight is different in different countries, different seasons, etc. But somewhere along the way, someone figured out that the average lighting temperature or setting for sunlight to emulate natural sunlight, the closest you can, is 5500K or kelvins. So when you're looking for softboxes, look for softboxes that support daylight bulbs. Next is the larger the better. Alright, so it may seem counterintuitive at first. You may think like, oh, I don't need such a huge softbox. I just need a small one because my studio is small. That's what I thought too, and that's part of the mistakes that I've made here. Larger softboxes are better. Why? Because as I said earlier, you can configure it however you want. Now, if you bought a softbox that is too small and only fits, for example, 3 fluorescent bulbs, then you're stuck with that. Because if you need more lighting, you have to get an additional softbox, because there's only that much of watts or that much of lighting that can be produced by the small softbox. You have to get 2, and when you get 2, you use up additional space, and also things just become messy. So get a softbox that is as large as possible, that can fit 5 bulbs, for example. And then if you decide that you don't need that much of light, you can just switch off some of the bulbs or just remove those bulbs completely. But you have a better maximum range that you can go to when you want more lights. The third, make sure that your softbox is suitable for video, because as I found out, not all softboxes are meant for video. And that was one of the biggest things I had to learn. I almost made the mistake of buying the wrong softbox that cost hundreds of dollars. I'll explain more about that in a while. Finally, when choosing a softbox, measure your watts. Okay, so watts is the amount of light output or the amount of power put or amount of power produced by your softboxes. It's not that difficult to understand watts. If you look at the light bulbs that you're using, the amount of watts will be written on the light bulb. So you multiply that by the number of fluorescent light bulbs used in your softbox, and you will understand how much watts of light or power can be produced by one softbox. So what are the common softbox components? Basically, you have 3 to 5 fluorescent light bulbs in the softbox. Okay, and you have a bulb mount that holds all those lights together. And you have a diffuser cover in the softbox. It could be different, depends on the quality of your softbox, but all softboxes have a diffusing cover. And then you have a stand to hold the softbox. Alright, so now let's look at the type of softbox that you should not buy, which is the photography softbox. So this is what a photography softbox looks like. Okay, you may think this is what you need, but notice the light that it uses. This is a strobe light, okay, or sometimes different softboxes use a speed light. And typically speaking, generally speaking, these lights are typically used for flash photography. So when you're searching for softboxes on Amazon, if the description says photography, then that's not the type of softbox you want, unless of course you want to take photography in your studio. But if you're talking about video, you don't want this kind of softboxes with a strobe light. Okay, the first thing is that they are more expensive. Next, you get better build quality, of course, from being more expensive, but also because the photography softboxes have been around for much longer compared to the ones for video, and they have really good brands building softboxes for photography. So they're more expensive, better build quality, and there's also more sizes and variations when it comes to photography softboxes. You can get octagon softbox, circle softbox, you can get a square, you can get a rectangle, so many sizes, so many variations. So why can't you use a softbox like this with a strobe light? The problem with the strobe light is that it's meant to flash once. It's meant to synchronize with your DSLR camera. Again, I'm not an expert at this, but this is from my understanding of it. It's meant to synchronize with your DSLR camera, so when you've set up your studio and you want to take a photo, and when you hit the shutter button, all the softboxes that you have configured into your ring of lighting will instantly flash at the same time. And that means that this strobe light is only meant to be turned on a fraction of a second at a time. You cannot turn it on and leave it on forever, which is what you need for video. For video, you need continuous lighting. So look for the keywords, or if you go to a store, ask the salesperson that you want to use it for video, and it must be for continuous lighting. It means that light stays on forever and ever and not just for flash.